Hello and welcome back to another Sift tutorial video. Today we're going to be looking at Sift's newest feature, which is our invoicing feature. If you are still using the free version of Sift, you will have to subscribe to Sift Pro to get access to this feature. So if you watch this video and like what you see, head over into your settings and you can subscribe to Sift Pro there. Okay, let's start off by taking a look at what is different and new here in Sift. You may have noticed at the very bottom in that menu bar that there is a new little dollar sign there. We're gonna come back to that and I'll show you how that works. First thing, the other new thing is this invoice details. That used to be your payment details with your little checklist, but now it's your invoice details. But before we can create any invoices and send any invoices, we have to go into our settings and add our preferred payment methods. So if you go down to your preferences, there's invoice payment options. Open that up and you'll see a Venmo section, PayPal, Square, and Cash section. If you use something else like Zelle, for example, you can still follow these next steps that I'm going to show you and just put your link in any one of those sections that say please enter link. Eventually we will add a section that's for other, but it will still work. If you use a Zelle link, you can put it in any one of those links, Zelle or anything else. So I personally use Venmo, so let me show you how I would pull my Venmo link. I would just go over to my Venmo, and if you're not sure how to open up that QR, you just tap on your profile picture. I'm gonna hold down that QR code, and it will say link copied to clipboard. Then I'm gonna jump back over into Sift, and all I have to do is actually tap that little paper icon in to the right of the space and click allow paste. I'm gonna activate it and I'm gonna mark it as my preferred payment method because that is where I like to get my payments through. I also do accept cash, so I will activate that and I'm gonna tap save. Make sure you hit save, otherwise it won't save. Once you've got your settings all taken care of, now we can create our invoices. But let's just look at my sample order that I put in here so that we can kind of get a feel for what I need to add to my invoice. This order is a 5 dozen order, and I am now going to be offering discounts for orders above 4 dozen cookies. So above 4 dozen cookies, they get $10 off per dozen. So we'll add that onto my invoice. We're adding shipping onto my invoice. We are adding bags with bows onto my invoice. So pop back over to your invoice details, tap that pink plus, and this is where I can add my custom cookie invoice. Add whatever title you want. Maybe the memo is birthday cookies. I don't know. You can put a memo, you don't have to. And your due date. So when do I want to be paid? I'm going to pick the 24th. So that's kind of the title and the heading of our invoice, but now we have to add our line items. So we're going to tap our pink plus, and first thing is, let's do the cookies. Custom cookies. I charge $100 per custom cookie, per dozen, not per custom cookie, that would be a lot. And they ordered 5 dozen, so I'm going to go ahead and add that to my invoice. I'm going to add another line item. Remember I said that they get a discount $10 per dozen for every dozen that is over that 4 dozen. So we're going to do order over 4 dozen discount. And that's $10 that they get off for each dozen. So that was 5 dozen. Now down at the bottom, you'll see this credit or debit toggle. Because I don't want to charge them an additional $50, I want to take that away as a discount. I'm going to toggle that to a debit so that it's already paid as a discount. I'm adding that to my invoice. They also wanted bows, which are $10 per dozen, and again, 5 dozen cookies. So I'm going to add that to my invoice, and they wanted their cookies shipped. So let's say that shipping was $20 and they of course only have 1 shipping fee. So I add that to my invoice and now I've got all my line items. That's everything that I needed to add to my invoice. If I'm not confident, I want to double check things, I can go ahead and save my invoice up top as a draft so it won't send it to the customer yet. But it does pop up in your invoice details and lets you know that it's a draft. So if I'm ready to send it and everything looks good, all I have to do is tap that send invoice button. And once that sends off, seems like my Wi-Fi is acting up here. There it goes. Now that that is sent, let me show you what the customer will see. So if I go into my email here, this is what my customer will see. So this is what the invoice looks like. So you can see it's super professional. They're seeing their custom cookies, their discount for $50, their bows, their shipping. They are getting their total, and they've got their preferred payment methods, and that is Venmo in my case. And they can have this pay here button. And I'm going to show you what that will do in just a moment. But that basically is what their invoice will look like. That's what your customer is seeing. If we jump back to what we are seeing, we have our conversation, our invoice details. We can still see that it's unpaid. At any point in time, I can click that unpaid button and it will mark it as paid. Now, Sift does not directly talk to Venmo, so you will have to go into Venmo or Square or PayPal and check to see if your customer has paid or not. But here's the nice thing. If I'm the customer and I go through and I click this Pay Here button, chances are I'm going into Venmo and I am going to send a payment. And what happens in Sift, as soon as a customer taps or clicks on that Pay Here button, you can click on that little $ button at the bottom of your screen. In that bottom, I jumped ahead a little bit there. So we're in our invoice details. As you can take a look in your $ and this have you been paid. So this just lets you know that, hey, that customer has tapped that Pay Here button. So there's a chance that you may have a payment in your Venmo account. So you can then take a look, see that, okay, let me go check and see if I've been paid. If I check my Venmo and it's there, I can swipe over and tap that paid button. If it was unpaid and you checked, just click not paid. The next time that they tap that Pay Here button in their invoice, you'll get another pop-up in your app so that you know, okay, I should go back and double check. So always be checking not paid or paid. That way you know and you can kind of keep track of things. As soon as you tap paid in there, you will see that that does update in your section within their project. Another way to mark it as paid or unpaid, like I mentioned, is simply by just tapping on the button within their project. So that is pretty much how you can create your invoice and send it off to customers. It's super professional looking. You can add credits. If you need to add a deposit, you could send a deposit. You can add as many invoices as you'd like. So I know I'm doing it backwards because obviously if I already sent a full invoice, I wouldn't be sending a deposit, but I could send another invoice here if I wanted to and just say a deposit and $100. I'm going to add it to the invoice, and then I could charge that deposit and send it off to my customer. And you'll see it pop up there. And then if I was to come back to my email as my customer, we've got a new invoice that came up. And then if I'm the customer, I click this Pay Here button, and that will trigger the Did You Get Paid section. So tap that $ at the bottom menu, and have you been paid? You can see, it's not screen sharing anymore. There we go. So if you tap that $ at the bottom, you can click that Have You Been Paid? I know that I should go check my Venmo, see if that deposit has been paid. If they just clicked it to kind of see what was going on and it wasn't actually paid, I could click that Not Yet. And then the next time they tap or click that Pay Here button in their invoice, it will pop up in this Have You Been Paid section. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions at all about this new feature, you can send me an email, post in the Facebook group, or send me a message on Instagram, however you want to get in contact with me, and I will be more than happy to help you out. I hope you like this new feature. I am so excited about it.